What's up, guys? My name is TechnoTuner, and today I'm bringing to you my Mayakashi mill deck. You ever looking for a good synchro version to really just go in for a lot of damage, or just to mill 60 cards out of your opponent's deck? Well, let me tell you, this deck can do it. I have milled out numerous decks and become one of the funnier players to ever play this deck. It is still one of my favorites to play at locals, especially when we do a major group duel. I think we did one time where it was like 22 players all in one duel as a free-for-all sort of deal. They all had to work together to really stop this deck from really popping off, because if they didn't, they would have all been milled out at least by 60 cards. This deck has a lot of fun capabilities. While yes, it does die to an Ash Blossom or a Droll, this deck still has a lot to really work with. It's a lot of fun, has a lot of capabilities, and plus, you can even run Zombie World or the Zombie package with it. While this deck has a lot of capabilities to further grow or be modified, I changed this one to a more of a Genesis build. So, if you guys want to feel free to take a look at this, please feel free. If you want to change it in any way, please feel free. But I wanted to bring to you guys today what I've been playing for the Mayakashi build, so I can show you what this deck does. So let's hop right on in to our main deck. Alright guys, so for the actual monsters of the deck, let's start off with our Mayakashi package. First up, we're going to be playing 3 Hajun, the Winged Mayakashi. It is a level 1 zombie monster that can be special summoned off of 1-for-1, which can help out greatly. If this card is no more special summon, you can special summon 1 Mayakashi monster from your deck, except Hajun, the Winged Mayakashi. You can only use this effect of Hajun, the Winged Mayakashi, once per turn. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except Mayakashi monsters. While it does lock you into Mayakashi, you don't really care because you're going to be going into that anyways. Next up, of course, we're playing 3 Yuki Musume, the Ice Mayakashi. If you control a Mayakashi card other than Yuki Musume, the Ice Mayakashi, while this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can special summon this card. Then send 1 zombie monster from your deck to the graveyard. You can only use this effect of Yuki Musume, the Ice Mayakashi, once per turn. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except Mayakashi monsters. So, basically between these two, you have capability of getting stuff into the graveyard, but also getting the access of getting monsters on the board, which can further help you out. For the actual tuner that we're going to be utilizing for this deck, we're using 2 Daki, the Graceful Mayakashi. You can only control 1 Daki, the Graceful Mayakashi on the board. When a Mayakashi monster or monsters is special summoned to your field from the extra deck, while this card is in your graveyard, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck the turn you activate this effect, except Mayakashi monsters. So basically, it's going to revive itself every time you go into a synchro monster that's a Mayakashi monster, which can help out greatly, and it keeps your combo going. About to say combo glowing. Of course, since we're playing zombies, we're playing 3 Unizombie. It's Zombie Tuner level 3. You can target 1 face-up monster on the field, discard 1 card, and if you do increase that monster's level by 1, you can target 1 face-up monster on the field. Monsters you control cannot attack for the rest of this turn except zombie monsters. Also send 1 zombie monster from your deck to the graveyard, and if you do increase that target's level by 1, you can only use each effect of Unizombie once per turn. So fun fact, this is a way we get to basically put monsters that we want into our graveyard, such as our 3 Mizuki. But we'll get into that here in a second, because the next part that we're going to be able to use to get into our Unizombie is 3 Shiranui Solitaire. You contribute 1 zombie-type monster, special summon 1 zombie-type tuner with 0 defense from your deck. If this card is banished, you can target 1 of your banished Shiranui monsters except Shiranui Solitaire, or up to 2 instead of Shiranui-style synthesis on the field. Special summon them. You can only use each effect of Shiranui Solitaire once per turn. So basically, we're going to be attributing this off to summon Unizombie to then dump a Mizuki from deck, and then dump another card that we don't really want in our hand, which can help further our plays. But speaking of the Mizukis, we're playing 3 Mizuki. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target 1 zombie-type monster in your graveyard, special summon that target. So the main reason that I say that we're going to be dumping a zombie monster from our deck or from our hand to the graveyard is because we want this on the board when we go through into our combo. Soul Absorbing Bone Tower. This card cannot be attacked if there is another zombie type monster on your field. Each time a zombie type monster is special summoned successfully, send 2 cards from the top of your opponent's deck to the graveyard. I have managed to just deck out people with having 1 of these on the board. If you have 2, you get to do it extremely fast and can be used as actual synchro material if you really need it as an extender. But you want to protect this as much as possible and get it on the board as fast as possible. But we do have 2 more Shiranui cards. One, which is Shiranui Spirit Master. When this card is normal summoned, you can special summon 1 Shiranui monster from your hand or graveyard except Shiranui Spirit Master, but banish it when it leaves the field. If this card is banished, you can target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, destroy it. You can only use this effect of Shiranui Spirit Master once per turn. And then finally we have 1 Shiranui Spectral Sword. This card is in your graveyard, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard. You can target 1 non-tuner zombie type monster in your graveyard, banish both it and this card, and if you do, special summon 1 zombie type synchro monster from your extra deck whose level equals the total level of those 2 monsters had. You can only use this effect of Shiranui Spectral Sword once per turn. So basically a graveyard banish to special summon a synchro monster that can further help your plays. While this deck has a lot of good monsters, this engine is basically built around let's get as many zombie monsters on the board as fast as possible to really burn out your opponent. We don't really care about Nibiru. If we get nibbed, okay. I mean, we're going to die either way on the crackback. This deck is basically just made to go first, mill out your opponent, and go for damage if need to. But anyways, let's hop right into our spells. Alright guys, let's hop right into our spells and traps. So first up, of course, we're playing 3 Mayakashi Return. Take 1 Mayakashi card from your deck, except Mayakashi Return, and either add to your hand or send it to the graveyard. You can only activate 1 Mayakashi Return per turn. So this card is very beneficial for the actual deck. Because it lets you basically lets you foolish a Mayakashi monster or a spell that you want in that graveyard. Next up, we're playing 2 Mayakashi Winter. Monsters your opponent controls lose 100 attack and defense for each Mayakashi monster with different name in your graveyard. You can only use one of the following effects of Mayakashi Winter per turn. Only once that turn. You can send this card and 1 Mayakashi monster you control to the graveyard, draw 1 card. Banish this card and 1 zombie monster from your graveyard, then target 1 Mayakashi monster in your graveyard, special summon it. So giving you the capability of getting a free draw or recovery, depending on what you really need at the time. Then, of course, we're playing 2 Ghost Meets Girl, a Shiranui story. If your opponent controls a monster, discard 1 zombie monster, special summon 1 Shiranui monster with a different name from your deck or graveyard. Also, you cannot special summon monsters except zombie monsters for the rest of this turn after this card resolves. You can only activate 1 Ghost Meets Girl, a Shiranui story once per turn. So, the good part about this is, basically, lets you special summon a Shiranui monster, get into your solitaire combo, especially if your opponent controls a monster, and only if your opponent controls a monster, but you don't really care about the whole aspect of locking yourself into zombies, so it helps you with a free special summon from the deck to get your combo going instead of devoting your normal summon to that. Now, if you want to get rid of your actual opponent's card in the graveyard that they really need or really want to really interact with, that's a monster, you can use 3 Book of Life. Target 1 zombie type monster in your graveyard and 1 monster in your opponent's graveyard. Special summon your zombie monster, which is the first target, and then banish the second target, which is your opponent's monster. This helps out greatly for getting some graveyard recovery and getting some monsters from your graveyard back onto the board. This can also trigger your Bone Tower if your Bone Tower is on board already, so whatever you summon off of this could trigger the Bone Tower and mill 2. Next, of course, you're wondering, well, how do we get those Bone Towers on the board if we can't normal summon? If we've already got our normal summon already done? Well, if you got Call of the Mummy, you don't really have to worry about it because you can special summon it first before you even devote to your normal summon or really establish any kind of cards on the board. Once per turn, you can special summon 1 zombie monster from your hand. You must control no monsters that activate and resolve this effect, which is very helpful overall. It doesn't just have to be the Bone Tower to activate that effect. You can do Hajin, Solitaire, whatever you feel fit to really get your combo moving. Next, for the 1-of spells, we're playing 1 Monster Reborn. Target 1 monster in another player's graveyard and special summon it. 1 Foolish Burial. Send 1 monster from your deck to the graveyard. And then 1 Curse of the Ancient Turtle. Banish 1 zombie monster from your hand or graveyard. Send 1 zombie monster from your deck to the graveyard. When your zombie monster is destroyed by battle, you can banish this card from your graveyard. Special summon 1 zombie monster with 2,000 or less defense from your deck. You can only use each effective Curse of the Ancient Turtle once per turn. So, This card is very beneficial nonetheless because it functions as a way of triggering a Shiranui effect, but also getting you a monster into the graveyard that you need for recovery. Now, as for the traps, of course, we're playing 2 Shiranui style Swallow Slash. Tribute 1 zombie type monster, then target 2 cards on the field, and destroy them. Then banish 1 Shiranui monster from your deck. You can only activate 1 Shiranui style Swallow Slash once per turn. Basically an Icarus attack, but for zombies, which can further help your plays and get your Shiranui effects going off. That's all I really have for the spells and traps, though, and please feel free to modify this at any point you like to see fit. Right now, the deck is currently setting at, I think, 38 points after all the spells and traps. The extra deck doesn't cost any points, so let's go ahead and hop right into that, and I'll show you what we're running there. So, for our extra deck, of course, we're playing nothing but Mayakashis, because it's going to make it really fun. We're playing 3 Ouroboros Garuma, the Wheeled Mayakashi. 1 tuner plus 1 or more non-tuner monsters. You can only control 1 Ouroboros Garuma, the Wheeled Mayakashi. You can only use each of the following effects of Ouroboros, the Wheeled Mayakashi, once per turn. If a synchro monster in your possession whose original level is 5 is destroyed by battle or opponent's card effect while this card is in your graveyard, banish 1 other zombie monster from your graveyard, and if you do, special summon this card. If this card is special summoned from the graveyard, you can activate this effect. This turn, monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle. So this is basically our level 3 that's going to get us into our synchro summon chain all the way up to level 9. Or, level 11. Next up, we play 3 Tsuchigumo, the Poisonous Mayakashi. 1 tuner plus 1 or more non-tuners. You can only control 1 Tsuchigumo, the Poisonous Mayakashi. You only use each of these effects as Tsuchigumo, the Poisonous Mayakashi, once per turn. If a synchro monster in your possession whose original level is 7 is destroyed by battle or opponent's card effect, well, this card is in your graveyard. You banish 1 other zombie monster from your graveyard, and if you do, special summon this card. If this card is special summoned from the graveyard, you can have each player send the top 3 cards of their deck to the graveyard, further milling your opponent out, but it's also just a 2,000 attack body, which can help out greatly. Next, of course, we're playing 3 Tengu, the Winged Mayakashi. It's a level 7. 1 tuner plus 1 or more non-tuner monsters. You can only control 1 Tengu, the Winged Mayakashi. You can only use each of these effects of Tengu, the Winged Mayakashi, once per turn. If a synchro monster in your possession whose original level is 9 is destroyed by battle or an opponent's card effect while this card is in your graveyard, you can banish 1 other zombie monster from your graveyard, and if you do, special summon this card. If this card is special summoned from the graveyard, you can destroy 1 spell or trap your opponent controls. So that helps out greatly as well, because that is back row removal. Next, of course, we're playing 3 Yoko, the Graceful Mayakashi. 1 tuner plus 1 or more non-tuner monsters. You can only control 1 Yoko, the Graceful Mayakashi. If a synchro monster in your possession whose original level is 11 is destroyed by battle or an opponent's card effect, while this card is in your graveyard, you can banish 1 other zombie monster from your graveyard, and if you do, special summon this card. If this card is special summoned from the graveyard, you can destroy 1 monster your opponent controls. Do note that is non-targeting, which can further help you out. And then, of course, we're playing 3 Gashadokuro, the Skeletal Mayakashi. 1 tuner plus 1 or more non-tuners. You can only control 1 Gashadokuro. The Skeletal Mayakashi. You can only use each of the following effects of Gashadoro. The Skeletal Mayakashi once per turn. If a Link monster in your possession is destroyed by battle or opponent's card effect, while this card is in your graveyard, you can banish 1 other zombie monster from your graveyard, and if you do, special summon this card. If this card is special summoned from the graveyard, you can activate this effect this turn. This face-up card is unaffected by other card effects. So, do note that if you're looking to really go the whole way and go play this in a more of a Link-based deck, for standard, I guess, is what you would call it, or advanced format, you do have the capability of cutting down on some of these cards and running the links that you need. For these links, I would recommend running 2 Yuki-onna and cutting down on 1 of each of these guys. So that gives you 5 slots. So you would run 2 the Link 2, which is 2 the Link Yuki-onna, 1 of the Link 4 Yuki-onna, and if you had access to the Link 3 Yuki-onna, I would recommend that. Just to really fill out those slots if you want to change it for more of a competitive build for actual mainline events. It's not that hard to really adjust this deck. It gives you a lot of capability for in between Genesis and actual events. The other thing that I may recommend cutting, if you're going towards that, is to cut the Curse of the Ancient Turtle for a 1-for-1 if you're going for more of a main event sort of deal. While this deck is more Protect the Towers, but gives you the access to OTK as well, you do have a lot of options to really go for it. Now, I will go ahead and give you a little bit of a bonus here and go over what the Link 2 and the Link 4 does. I'm sorry, I'm still waiting on that Link 3 to come in. But the Link 2s are 2 Mayakashi monsters. You can only control one Yukiona, the Ice Mayakashi. While this card points to a Synchro monster, opponents' monsters cannot target this card for attacks. If a Synchro monster in your possession is destroyed by battle or opponent's card effect while this card is on the field, you can target one face-up monster on the field. Its attack and defense become half its current attack and defense until the end of this turn. You can only use this effect of Yukiona, the Ice Mayakashi, once per turn. And then our Link 4, which is the big boss woman, Yukiona, the Absolute Zero Mayakashi, 2+ zombie monsters. You can only control one Yukiona, the Absolute Zero Mayakashi. Negate any activated effects of your opponent's banished monsters. If a monster is special summoned from the graveyard or a monster effect is activated in the graveyard, except during the damage step, you can target one other face-up monster on the field and change its attack to 0, and if you do, negate its effects. You can use this effect of Yukiona, the Absolute Zero Mayakashi, up to twice per turn, so that can help out greatly with breaking boards as well. While this deck, I will state, is lower on the tier and wouldn't even be considered rogue right now for the current meta, if you're looking towards that kind of thing, it is a bigger pain, but it's still a lot more fun to play than most other decks. Now, if you're still looking to play the Genesis deck, this is probably going to be one of the more fun builds that you can actually run with this deck. So you can establish a level 11, a level 9, and a level 7 on your board. Or if you're even looking towards it, you can just go for more milling power as well with this deck. But there's multiple ways in which you can edit or modify this deck in any way you see fit to best fit your playstyle. Either way, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please feel free to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.